They told you life was something that happens. They trained you to react, to chase, to bow before circumstance. But what if that was the greatest lie you were ever told? What if the storm you're caught in was never outside you? What if the chains that bind you weren't wrapped around your wrists, but wrapped around your thoughts? Listen carefully. You are not a passive observer in this universe. You are the creative force behind it. You are the operative power, the hidden hand scripting every chapter of your life. And until you awaken to that truth, you will remain a character in someone else's story. But the moment you remember who you really are, the moment you stop waiting for signs and start creating them, everything changes. Somewhere in the silence of your mind lies the switch that bends reality. Neville Goddard said, "Conscious is the only reality, not your bank account, not your resume, not the way they talk about you behind closed doors. Consciousness creates reality, and what you accept as true, what you assume about yourself, is the seed from which your world grows. Assume weakness and life will mirror it. Assume strength and even mountains. You don't need permission. You don't need validation. You need vision, because the world you walk through is nothing more than the echo of your inner world. Look around. Everything you see, from the phone in your hand, the skyscrapers above you, was once invisible. It was imagined, felt, assumed to be real by someone who dared to believe before it existed. Edison didn't discover light, he decided it. Carnegie didn't stumble upon it, he commanded it. Disney didn't find a kingdom, he built it brick by brick inside the theater of his mind long before anyone else could. These men weren't lucky, they weren't chosen, they were aware. They understood something most people miss. Reality is not something you walk in, it's something you walk out of. You step out of it the moment you stop worshiping what is and start imagining what can. Here's the truth. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you. So if you want more, become more. If you want freedom, embody freedom. If you want love, assume love. If you want power, command it. No begging, no hoping, no waiting. Feel the state of your wish fulfilled. Feel it until it burns in your bones and forget that you were ever without it. Neville didn't teach magic. He taught mastery, not of others, but of self. And if you can master the self, you can master the world. But understand this, the mind is not a neutral ground. It's not an empty container waiting to be filled with affirmations and positivity. It's a battlefield, and you are either commanding it or being conquered by it. Doubt is the great thief. It whispers in your ear like a false friend, saying you're not ready, you're not enough. This isn't realistic. But nothing about greatness was ever real. It wasn't realistic for Mandela to spend 27 years in prison and still rise to lead a nation. It wasn't realistic for Oprah to come from abuse and poverty and become a global icon. It wasn't realistic for you to even be alive right now, born with a mind capable of reshaping the world from inside out. But you are, and that is your advantage, because what's realistic has never changed the world. Only what's imagined has. The great lie of modern life is this: be reasonable, play it safe, stay small, blend in. But the truth is, your desire is divine. It's not a fantasy, it's a preview, a glimpse of the version of you that already exists in higher form. And your job isn't to analyze it. Your job is to feel it as true until the world bends to. This is not delusion. This is design. You were not meant to drift. You were meant to direct, not to react, to respond from power, not to chase, to command. The moment you say, I am, you are no longer just a person, you are a creator. And what follows that I am is your decree. Say I am stuck, and you summon walls. Say I am rising, and you open doors. Say I am wealth, and the path begins to form beneath. Do not wait for external evidence. Evidence is the byproduct, not the prerequisite. The world conforms to the image you hold of yourself, not the image they project onto you. And if you hold the image long enough, feel it deeply, trust it fully enough, it must materialize, not because of luck but because of law. You are the operant power, not some force outside you, not fate, not chance. The creator is not above, the creator is within. And when you assume something to be true, when you feel it with certainty, the universe is compelled to match. That's not fear, that's not philosophy, that's creation. Every breakthrough, every empire, every comeback story you admire began in silence, in the inner temple, in the unseen. Before Martin Luther King Jr. ever gave us, he saw the dream. Before Steve Jobs ever changed the world, he felt the future in his bones. Before you step into your new life, you must die to the old self. Let it go, not with fear, but with reverence. Because the version of you that got you can't take you there. And so it begins, not with noise, not with applause, but with a decision so subtle, the world won't notice at first, but the universe will. Because once you claim your identity, reality begins to reorganize. You are no longer a drifter in someone else's current. You become the current, the force, The cause. The greatest shift you will ever make is from believing in outside-in change to knowing it is inside-out. That job, it shows up after you're worthy. That relationship, it flourishes. Assume you're already loved. That abundance, it flows when you no longer feel lack. The outer world is the source. It's the mirror. It reflects not what you say, but not what you hope for, but what you live from. And when you live from the end begins to live in you. You must understand, reality is loyal to your dominant. It doesn't respond to occasional affirmation. It responds to consistent inner states. You cannot fool it. You cannot fake it. Because life is not reacting to your words, it is echoing your. So if you continue to be scarcity, you will walk in lack. If you continue to be feared, you will meet obstacles. But the moment you become certainty, the moment you are wealth, love and power in the stillness of your soul, nothing can remain the same. Change the inner, watch the outer obey. This is not wishful thinking. This is the law. But don't mistake it for truth. The path of the operative power is not comfortable. It is awakening. An awakening can be violent. Because to rise, you must first let your old identity die. You must shed the victim, the doubt, almost version of yourself. You must walk out of the prison cell. Even if you've grown familiar with the chains, you must speak as though it's already yours, act as though it's already done, and move as if you're already there. The mind will scream, but how? Ignore. The ego will panic. But what if you fail? Smile and say, then I will rise again, stronger. Because you are not here to tiptoe towards your dream. You are here to command them in. Command doesn't mean force. It doesn't mean hustle. It means alignment. It means authority without struggle. It means knowing that the seed you plant in conscious today is already blooming in another dimension. You don't see it yet, but it's done. You water it with feet. You nourish it with gratitude. You protect it from doubt, like a mother shields her child. This is the sacred discipline of creation. Not checking for results every day, but assuming the end and living from it. When Neville said assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, he wasn't offering you a motivational phrase. He was giving you the key to the kingdom. Discipline is not just in action, it is in assumption. Can you hold the state, even when nothing in your life reflects it? Can you be rich in consciousness while your wallet is dead? Can you walk like a king when the world still calls you a servant? If you can do that, you have already won. Because life must bow to your inner decree. It is law. And law does not fail. It does not hesitate. It does not make exception. It only asks, what are you assuming today? So assume boldly, assume grandly, assume unapologetically. Do not lower your vision to match your current results. Raise your belief to match your highest calling. There is no honor in shrinking, no nobility in playing small. The world needs your fire, your vision, your awakened self, and it will never appear until you do not need a miracle. You are the miracle. And the moment you own that fully, the world will conspire to reflect it. Opportunities will shift. People will change. Doors you thought were sealed shut will fly open. Not because they were locked, but because you were locked. Locked in doubt, locked in forgetting your own power. But no more. Today is the day you remember. Today is the day you walk, not as the effect of the world, but as the cause. You are not here to survive. You are here to create, not here to react, but to command. You are the operative power, and your life begins the moment you decide to act like it. And so you not with hesitation, not with doubt, but with the silent conviction of someone who knows they are no longer waiting for the world to give them permission, knows they are no longer negotiating with limitation inherited from fear, from the past, from people who never dared to dream. You rise now not as a seeker of truth, but as truth itself in motion. You rise not to beg, not to chase, not to plead, but to command. Because when you know who you are, the game changes. You are not a body trying to. You are awareness clothed in flesh. Eternal energy shaping form through focus. That's what the world never told you. Because if it did, you would never settle again. You've been taught to hustle harder, to grind longer, to work until you break. But that's the path of the unaware. You command from the inside out. You align. You declare. You assume the state of the outcome, and the world complies. Not because of magic, but because the world has no choice when the law is obeyed. This is what Neville Goddard meant when he said, the world is yourself pushed out. Everything around you is the printout of your internal blueprint. So the question is not what do I want? The question is what am I being right now? Because you don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. Want wealth? Be wealth. Walk like it. Talk like it. Think like it. Feel it at 5 a.m. before your feet touch the floor. Want love? Be love. Radiate. Forgive quickly. Speak gently. Live like you are already adored. Want purpose? Be purpose. Show up like your mission is divine. Because it is. Every moment, every breath, every action. This is how kings and queens rise. This is how empires are born from the mind of a single soul, bold enough to believe. Do you think Carnegie waited for a stock report to feel rich? Do you think Edison waited for applause before seeing the bulb? No, they assumed the end before the world caught up, and that is what you must do now. The greatest deception is that circumstances define you. No, you define circumstance. You must train your imagination to override your senses, because your senses will lie to you. They will whisper, "You're not ready. It's not working. You're still stuck." But your inner vision says otherwise. And that vision, that holy imagination, that is God in act. You want proof? Look around you. Every building, every invention, every innovation you touch with your hands was first built in the unseen, in the invisible, in thought, in imagination. So what are you building there right now? Are you building fear, scarcity, excuse, or are you sculpting a future so alive, so vivid, so inevitable, that it pulls you forward like gravity? Because if you're not building it in mind, it cannot exist in matter. Let the old self burn. Let the doubt die. Let every excuse melt in the fire of your decision. This is your responsibility now, not to fix the world, but to command your world. And in doing so, you change the whole. Because your elevation liberates others. When one person rises in consciousness, everyone around them feels it. It's contagious, unstoppable, and revolutionary. Your decision today, this moment, is not just for you. It is for your family, for your future children, for every soul who will look to you and say, "Because you woke up, so can I." And this is where purpose is born. Not from a career title, not from fame or external reward, but from alignment with your highest self. When you stop asking, "What should I do with my life?" and start declaring, "Who must I become to light up this world?" Purpose isn't found, it is chosen, it is lived, it is breathed, it is poured into everything you touch. You infuse your days with fire. You stop going through the motion and start moving mountain intention. Every email becomes divine communication. Every conversation, a transmission of power. Every step you take, a revolution in motion. This is mastery. This is reality on your terms. But you must protect the state. Just as a warrior guards their kingdom, you must guard your mind, because the world will try to pull you back. Old friends, old fears, old failures, they will whisper, "Stay small, be realistic, don't get your hopes up." Ignore them. Smile with compassion and walk forward anyway, because hope is the beginning of transformation, and realism is often just fear in disguise. You weren't born for realism. You were born for radical creation. You were born to command the unseen, to mold it like clay with your feeling, to rise like a phoenix every single morning with a decree in your chest. "I am the operative power, and today I command miracles." Then speak it now. Say it not with your lips, but with your entire being. "I am the operative power." Say it until the vibration drowns out every whisper of doubt. Say it until your nervous system stops trembling and starts trusting. Because this is not positive thinking. This is not surface level affirmation. This is the reclamation of your divine authority. And you don't whisper it, you declare it. You see, the moment you truly decide, the universe reorganizes. But it won't happen in the way you expect. It rarely does. Your old life will begin to collapse. The people patterns and places that matched your former self will fade, because they can't come with you to the new dimension you've chosen. Do not mourn this. Honor it. That's the price of ascension. The old self must die, so the true self can rise. And now that the flame is lit, you must sustain it. This is where discipline enters. Not the discipline of force, but the discipline of devotion. Devotion to the new state. Devotion to the assumption that your desire is already fulfilled. You think the masters lived by chance? No, they lived by law. They knew the inner precedes the outer. They knew what Neville taught. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and live in that assumption. So they did, and so must you. You don't wait until the bank account changes to feel abundant. You feel it now. You don't wait until your soulmate walks through the door to feel love. You feel it now. You don't wait until your business explodes to feel success. You embody it now, because feeling is the signal. It is the frequency that rewrites your world. So let's talk about gratitude, not the cliche version you see on coffee mugs. I'm talking about vibrational gratitude, the kind of gratitude that's so real, It makes you weep in silence, for what you know is already done. Gratitude is not a reaction, it is a generator. It brings the unseen to form, it draws the future into the now. When you give thanks for what hasn't appeared yet, you collapse time. You become the bridge between what is and what's become. So when doubt creeps in, when the outer world looks unchanged, you close your eyes and return to gratitude. You say thank you for the dream already lived. You say thank you for the breakthrough already received. You say thank you for the version of you who already won, because that version exists, and they are calling you. And what about resilience? Let's get real. You will face storms. This path is not for the weak-hearted. There will be moments where the 3D world looks like it's mocking, but listen closely. That's not failure. That's confirmation. It's confirmation that your old reality is collapsing. It's shaking. It's resisting, because you've shifted out of it, and it knows it's losing. So what do? You stand firm. You persist in the assumption. You dwell in the new state. You hold the inner image as sacred, no matter what's happening outside. This is spiritual warriorship. This is mental toughness. This is what separates those who dabble from those who dominate. You are not here to fit in. You are here to transform, to expand, to lead. Your imagination is not a playground. It is a command center. Your words are not casual. They are spells. They are scripts written in the language of creation. So speak only what you want to think, only what you want to be, feel only what you want to live. And when the old identity begs to be remembered, when it pleads to be fed, you starve it, you turn from it, and you return to the throne. Because kings and queens do not bow to ghosts. You were never the doubt. You were never the fear. You were never the version of you that failed. You were always the operative power. Now, this is your charge. Wake up tomorrow, like the world is clay and your mind is a sculptor. Walk like the universe is responding to your inner broadcast. Breathe like God breathes through you. Move like destiny is magnetized to your decision. Because it is. You don't need to hustle for your worth. You assume it. You don't need to compete. You command. You don't need to wish. You declare. You are not a beggar. You are the sword. So burn this truth into your bones. You are the operative power. And the time is not someday. The time is now. Now you imagine. Now you assume. Now you embody. And now, you command your reality.